Well, in the meantime, immigration and the southern border taking center stage during today's Senate confirmation hearing for Kristi Noem, the president-elect nominated South Dakota's governor to lead the sprawling department with more than 250,000 employees. And if confirmed, she will be key to the incoming administration's goal of securing the border, as well as its plans to deport millions of people in the country illegally. Let's bring in News Nation's Robert Sherman live for us in Palm Beach outside of Mar-a-Lago. And Robert, the border was the major focus of Noem's hearing, and we know that is a major focus for the incoming president.
Yeah, even in fact, Nichole, you've had the president-elect on the campaign trail arguing that this is the #1 issue that the American public is facing once he takes the oath of office. And so the Department of Homeland Security position, that is one that is of top priority to him. And his choice is Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, of course, awaiting that confirmation process here, but a highly anticipated hearing taking place today. A bit more about her. South Dakota's first female governor since 2019. Before then, served in the U.S. House of Representatives. She really rose to prominence in conservative ranks during the coronavirus pandemic by making the choice to not shut down the state, saying that she trusted her citizens and her constituents to make smart choices. She's been very passionate about the U.S.-Mexico border, sending National Guardsmen down to the U.S.-Mexico border to assist the state of Texas in their efforts there. And something that she was asked about and pressed by lawmakers today is exactly the policies needed in order to regain operational control along the U.S.-Mexico border. She has unabashedly said that she's in favor of the president-elect's plan in order to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. Here's a bit more of what she had to say. Take a listen.
The President and I have talked extensively about this and will 100% partner with him to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy and make sure that it's in place. The President has promised he will secure the border, that we will uphold our nation's laws, and that he will do that to the benefit and be putting America first again.
A multi-tenant plan coming together for the president-elect when it comes to handling the U.S.-Mexico border. On the one hand, stemming the flow of migrants that are heading into the U.S. with policies such as Remain in Mexico, keeping people on the Mexican side of the border as their asylum claims processed. But on the other hand as well, mass deportation efforts that he has promised his voters that he intends to undertake in order to remove some of the people, particularly those with criminal charges, from the country who are in the United States illegally. Nichole.
All right, Robert Sherman live for us there in Florida. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.